Hello everyone, we did absolutely phenomenal today in terms of day trading. We did 3 for 3 in the first hour of the day. We made multiple 20, 30, 50% trades. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to you guys the thought process and the reasoning in detail why I entered and exited each of those trades. I'm going to zoom out and give you guys a holistic view of what I even look for before the market even opens. So we're going to take a look at all that stuff, and it should be really, really fun. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. All right, so number one, I do a daily market recap where I explain in detail what I think is going to happen for the next day in the market. And I post that on YouTube after the market closes. So that does a good job of explaining my thought process. But now, prior to the market open, you look at everything as a whole. Okay, so the main reason that I was saying in my YouTube videos that I was bullish was the strength out of large tech, specifically AI, Google related, and chip related stocks. So Google, for example, I was saying how Google, when it makes a setup like this where it opens outside of the Bollinger Bands, the next day is likely green as well. So I knew that Google was going to end up bouncing and showing some strength. Okay. I knew that Nvidia, AMD were already holding support and showing some strength as well. AMD had a huge day today so far. But obviously all of this stuff happened in the past hour. From 9:30 to 10:30, these big moves did not occur. So a lot of the trades that I took were short, actually. So basically the reason that they were short. Okay. Now heading into today, now just looking at the S&P immediately, this is not the most bullish setup. What we're seeing right now, this hammer, a hammer that paints red. If this was a green hammer, then it would be bullish. But this is a red hammer. This is not the most bullish setup. We also opened a bit red. So on the bounces upwards, I wanted to fade and I wanted to short those bounces upwards. All right. So let's zoom in and look at things on a 1 minute time frame now. All right. All right, so yeah, we did really, really well today. All right, so this, let's clean this up here. All right, so number one, the first trade that we took. All right, zooming out, you have to know your most important daily levels of support and resistance. And that 427 level was a major level of support for the past few days, and it also became a level of resistance. So I knew 427 was going to be a major level of resistance. Okay, so number one, right off the bat, we had a consolidation and a big move to the upside. Okay, as soon as this happens, the move to the upside is already done, and what I am starting to look for as so look, regardless of whether you think the market is bullish or bearish or not, when the market makes a big move like this to the upside, it's too late to start going long into this strength. What you have to do instead is you have to wait for levels of pullbacks to go long, or you just go short into weakness. All right. You never ever try to follow alongside the momentum, even if you're trying to go short. So this is pre-market, makes, obviously, but even if you're trying to go short, you never try to short aggressively into weakness. If you do that, you have to have very, very tight stop losses. So obviously in the pre-market, it trades a little different, but when the market opens, you don't do that. If you did want to aggressively start going long, you would need to have a very, very tight stop loss, but that's not what I did. So what we did instead, knowing that the daily candle from yesterday's close was not very bullish, let's just look at the daily candle for the Nasdaq as well. Nasdaq's daily candle was a doji. It was not that bullish either. The IWM showed some strength, but you know, the dollar was also showing a lot of strength yesterday as well. So also another thing was that the VIX is important to watch because the VIX has an inverse relationship to the market. The VIX had a bit of a pullback yesterday, so there could have been a continued move to the upside on the VIX. And if the VIX moves to the upside, then that is generally bearish for the market. So with all of those things considered, it was not an automatic super bullish opportunity, okay? And for that reason, I was comfortable looking at some shorts, all right? And I wanted to feel out the market. I wanted to see which way the market momentum was going to go, how the momentum was going, etc., etc. I wanted to see what was going on. So the first trade that we took, as we moved to this upside here, we shorted. I went short with a stop loss at high of day. Nice and simple. This moved a solid, I think, 30%. This was about a 25 to 30% move to the downside. This worked out beautifully. The reason for it is, once again, as we had a huge move to the upside, 427, psychological, and a very major level of resistance. 427 was a very major level of resistance. All of these other indicators and everything were also showing potential bearishness. The VIX was showing potential bearishness. The dollar was showing potential bearishness. It wasn't an automatic reason to just be blindingly bullish just yet, okay? The market just opened. Quick, easy trade in the first few minutes of the day. Nice, simple short with a stop loss right above that candle. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but very simple. That was the reason for the trade. Worked out. Nice 30% move. Cool. We ended up re-shorting it because now the reason why we ended up re-shorting it after this, right? We ended up re-shorting it right here. I was saying 425.80 was a level that it needed to remain below. Okay. The reason why we shorted it here was so we could make a Fibonacci level from the most recent highs to the most recent lows. And basically it coincides with the 50% fib for a 35.80 or 425.79 coincided with the 50% fib level of this move here. And I was saying this was going to be a level that it needed to remain below. So what ended up happening was we shorted. The trade was a little red for a little bit, right? And then it pulled back much lower right here afterward. This was another 20% move. Took some profit, and then we remained. I held on to runners, and this ended up bouncing back. And I was still giving my reasoning. I was like, this is still a very bearish move. This by no means, just because we came back and reclaimed the 618% fib with a huge green candle into a level of resistance that oftentimes is not sustainable. Already with like a very bearish move to start the morning. This is bearish momentum so far, guys. So we were already looking at bearish momentum. The Nasdaq on the minute candle as well, while this was going on with the SPY, was showing bearish momentum as well. So I was like, okay, we're gonna re-short, and this is gonna make a new low because this is still showing bearish momentum. Boom, we shorted. It ended up making another huge low. This ended up hitting 40%, and then we sold out of the runners. Spectacular. And then from here, we just didn't take any trade. I was waiting, right? So we made 2 good trades already. Then it was just a matter of waiting. And I was responding to some comments, just waiting. And then this was one of the most interesting things that happened so far, and it led to like a very, very easy trade. Okay, so this I was explaining in the chat. So okay, so now this is a chart, right? We obviously bottomed out after showing some bearish momentum, we bottomed out, made a higher low, and now we are having like a huge push to the upside. Huge push to the upside. And remember, 427 is a level of resistance. Okay? So the SPY is making a huge push to the upside. And what do they do here? I tell you guys, when it makes another huge green candle after already a bunch of green candles, that is oftentimes a fake out. So this would have normally been a place where I would take a short. The reason why I didn't enter short was because I was watching the options contracts and I saw that because the implied volatility today is higher than it was normally, I was watching the option contract premiums move, and I saw that there was a discrepancy in the way that they would normally move. So a small movement in the contract was only causing a very small movement in conjunction to the price movement. So I saw that that's weird. So when that happens, there's a high likelihood that the momentum is going to continue in the direction that it already is in the short term. So that's why I didn't want to go short. Had we gone short here, we still would have made 10% on this move to the downside. But I wasn't comfortable going short. I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait to see if we were going to make another leg up. And that is exactly what they ended up doing. They got a lot of people to be short here. And even if you did take the trade, this is still like a good trade to take. With a nice stop loss tight right above high of day, you can't beat yourself up if you took this trade. But I didn't take it because of that reason, the options. So I wanted to wait for another high, another leg up, and that's exactly what ended up happening. They squeezed all of these people that are going short, and then forced these people that were short, rightfully so, they were short. They squeezed them up, and then all of those people ended up becoming long. So here is where we ended up going short. We shorted the top up here. And I was very, very happy that we were very, very patient with the trade and everything. We shorted this next leg up beautifully. And this was the high so far for that morning, or for the morning. We ended up making another low. Holding on to runners still. I knew that this was just going to make another low, and sold the runners down here for a 55% gain. And as soon as we sold the entire position, as always, when I usually sell to take profit on the entire position, the market ends up doing the opposite. So it could have just been a really good long opportunity and we would have bounced. But regardless, the reason why we took this trade was because it was another leg up. We ended up making another leg up, really becoming super overextended, way too much strength at a level of resistance. At this point, we're above 427. We are just like on a rocket ship. This is not sustainable. And you have to look at what's going on in the minutes prior to you taking the trade. That is the most important thing. When you just newly start looking at the chart, if you weren't looking at the chart all day, you come, it's 12:30 p.m. You come, you're like, all right, what's going on? You have to look at immediately what just happened in the market. So immediately what just happened, you got to contextualize things. So you saw a huge move to the upside, a period of consolidation where they were trying to make people short, and then it ripped to the upside and it faked all of those people out. Trading, the victory goes to people that can persevere. So instead of changing your bias and your direction, you were already correct to try to go short down here. You had to go short again up here. And that was basically, you miss some trades, you have a tight stop loss. Trading, you're not going to win every single trade. You have to be okay with knowing that you're going to lose. And that's the thing with shooting basketballs into a hoop. If the first shot that Steph Curry takes, he could miss it. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to make the next few shots. You know what I'm saying? So just because you lose one trade or you miss one shot does not mean that you don't take another one. And if you basically just have to contextualize it. This was a moved to the upside. They were trying to force people out of the proper direction with these big green candles, and that ended up happening. So those trades ended up working really, really well, and yeah, I'm happy that we had a really, really good day today. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, I am doing free 30-minute coaching sessions per week per person. So if you guys are interested in that, go into the comments or the channel description and you can get that there as well. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys after hours with the market recap. And until then, I'm also really happy that these swings are not down huge anymore as well. So that's pretty good. All right. So without further ado, we're not gonna have a good day. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Take care.